Hi there, this is Kevin from Health Agent Academy. I'd like to thank you for joining me on this quick little presentation here to tell you a little bit about insurance continuing education. So in this video, our objective here is to help you better understand insurance continuing education, the requirements that are put out there, and really understand why it's important. If you're relatively new to insurance, you're going to find this helpful and hopefully save you some heartache on the back end. Also, we're going to show you how to find the specific requirements for your state. And it's important to know your state's requirements because they vary actually quite differently between states. So, for example, in Florida, the ruling is every 2 years you need to have 19 hours, including a 5-hour ethics course. And when you take through most vendors, the certificates and the fact that you finished gets sent to the state automatically, whereas in other states, such as New Mexico, you have to take your continuing education credits every year. You have to take 15 hours, and it includes a 1-hour ethics course. And also in New Mexico, you have to pay $1 per credit hour to the state as well. So just little things like that, again, are going to save you a lot of heartache in the back end, and we'll go over that a little bit more. So what is the whole purpose behind continuing education? So it's really what it comes down to is the states and the consumers, the people or clients that we deal with. Everybody just wants to feel confident that agents out there are competent. And this is just one way of making sure that every so often, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, whatever, agents have at least done a minimum level of educational requirements. So, we all had to get our licensing education in order to get licensed. Now this is just one other way to help us stay trained on top of things. And I know a lot of people will say, well, but I do training day in and day out in the school of hard knocks, so to speak, when I work with my clients, which yes, that's a very valuable education, as well as education you might get from insurance carriers or from a general agency or an FMO or mentors within the business or just dealing with other agents. Yeah, that's all important too. So this is just one piece of the puzzle, but it is a way to formally make sure that agents at least have the minimum level of education ongoing to be competent and to grow. So what it also does is it helps agents stay updated with trends because, as we've all seen, health insurance, for example, is a ever-evolving line of business. And whether it's long-term care, life insurance, whatever it is you're selling, it's going to change over time. So continuing education is just another way to stay on top of what's out there and what it is that you need to learn to be more successful. And the more confident that you are with all this, the better you're going to sell really in the end. So it also helps you stay on top of the state-based requirements because, as we said, it's going to vary from state to state. So one thing that's good is oftentimes in some continuing education courses, it actually even goes into some specific things that the state may require you for. So your state may require you to take a specific ethics class, for example, and it may include some state laws. Now, again, state laws change, so as an agent, you want to make sure that you're compliant and following up on the portions of the law that apply to you. So it's, again, it can feel like busy work at times. It's definitely for most agents, it's not their favorite thing to do, continuing education, but it is very important, vitally important. I almost said both words at the same time there, but it's very important we stay on top of this. So you may be thinking to yourself, well, okay, why is it so important? So what could happen to agents who fail to meet CE requirements? So if you've been doing this for a while, you've probably known some agents who didn't get their CE credits taken care of on time. And in my experience doing training and talking to agents, I've seen quite a few experiences where people did not, or instances I should say, where people did not have all their CE credits in on time. And there's a domino effect of what happens. So let's just walk through that just so everyone kind of understands why this is so important, because it is taken very seriously. Licenses do get suspended. And if you lose your resident license, likely you will also lose your non-resident license in other states. So if you sell in 4 or 5 different states, including the state that you reside in, if you lose your resident license, there's a very good chance that the other states are going to suspend your license as well, because oftentimes your non-resident licenses are typically going to be tied into your resident license being active and in good standing. So if you lose your resident license, chances are you'll lose some other licenses too. There's also penalties if it comes down to reinstating your license. So oftentimes it's more expensive to pay a penalty once you do take your CE credits than it would have been to just take the CE credits to begin with. Also, where it gets to be even more of a hassle and potentially more costly is that you could lose your appointments. So oftentimes insurance carriers will have to say, okay, well, we're going to have to take away this agent's appointments because he or she no longer is active for insurance in the state or that particular line of insurance in the state, depending on how the state licenses the agent. But if that license goes away, the appointments may go away as well. And I've seen cases where that happens. And if the appointments start going away, well, there tends to be some lost commission and lost renewals. So oftentimes, the agent of record status ends up going away, or it gets moved either to back to the house, so to speak, back to the insurance carrier, or moves to another agent or something along those lines. And getting it back is not always easy. So all these issues are really set up to, as long as an agent gets their credits in on time, then they're fine. But it's whenever the credits are not turned in on time, or not taken on time and completed satisfactorily, that's when people start getting into issues. And it's like a light switch. It's very easy to flip the switch once things are not done on time, but flipping it back on is not as simple as flipping the light switch. It can take a long time. So you'd have to go back through the domino effect of getting the licenses back in working order, not losing or getting the appointments back. And then the insurance carriers at that point would then have to make sure they go back into all these clients and reassign them, which I've seen it happen. And it can, and even for agents who are on top of it and following back up with insurance carriers, it may take months, or they may not even do it. So again, save yourself the heartache and make sure you're on top of your CE continuing education requirements. So you're probably thinking, okay, well, maybe it's worthwhile to check in on it. So what do you do if you're not sure what the requirements are in your state? I would definitely make sure you check your state's requirements, and I'll show you a couple different options to do that here in just a moment. And then also, I'd go ahead and sign up for a course today, and you can use whatever valid continuing education company you'd like. I do have a recommendation of one, which I'll show you here momentarily. And first thing, though, is make sure you know your state's requirements. So, for example, and I'm showing over here on the National Insurance Producer Registry, NIPR, which you're probably familiar. They're the ones that assign your national producer number. So, for example, if I wanted to see my home state here of Florida, if I go to, it takes me to their myfloridacfo.com, which happens to be Florida's insurance agent licensing body. So if I go down over here to continuing education, CE requirements by license type, it's going to tell me what they are. And so for example, if I had a life and health license, it's telling me I would need 19 hours of credits, including 5 hours of law and ethics update, which actually, is 24 hours total. I think I said 19 for Florida. So if you're in Florida, just note that to self. So what you're also going to need to do is sign up for a course. So another way that you can check what is available we at Health Agent Academy have partnered with WebCE, and I've got a link down below if you'd like to check them out. If you want to see the requirements in your state, so for example, for Florida, they've got the same ones as well, so you can check for your state here too. I like it because it's a little more user-friendly, a little more Cliff Notes version, so to speak. But what I could do is, if I wanted to see the requirements, so it says compliance requirements, review the Florida requirements, I just click on that. A little pop-up box is going to come up here. Oh, there it is. So for showing me what I got to get and reminding me that I got to get it done every 24 months. Like Florida, for example, has some idiosyncrasies or nuances, I guess is probably the right word, based on when you were born. Your birth month comes into play. It doesn't necessarily in all states, but again, that's why you should always check, because you want to make sure you know when that deadline is, and so you can stay on top of it. But it says like what the requirements are, and 24 hours it talks about here as well. So now what you want to do is you want to sign up for the course. Now, if you do decide to go through the link here, just a full disclosure, Health Agent Academy is a partner of WebCE. They do provide us with a small commission in doing so, kind of like when you sell an insurance policy. Basically is enough to probably take my daughter and I out to get a cup of coffee, and I'd probably get her a chocolate milk. She's young. But if you did decide to sign up, for example, and it's like this in pretty much most of the states I've looked at, where it shows you here at the top, most states have some sort of ethics law type update requirement, which is pretty common. So if I clicked on that, and then if I were to add it to the cart, actually I'll remove that. So you can see here the course would be $19.95 for the 5-hour course on its own. Now if I packaged all the 24 hours I needed for the state of Florida together, it's a much smaller price. So if you do use WebCE, don't get too worried about the pricing you see there. I would sign up for the package. I mean, you're going to save yourself a lot of money in doing so. And then if you do go over 24 hours, because basically what you would do is you would just go to pick other courses, and it would show you the list of courses that are available for your state. And the courses, of course, are going to vary by state. But you can see there's all these different courses, and there's different hours. Now, if you end up going over the 24 hours, it's part of the package. They charge I think it's 75 cents or something like that per hour. Nothing huge, but that way you can at least, that's 75 cents per hour, at least at the time of this. That could all change. So depending on when you're watching this video, the pricing could change, but at least the way it's packaged right now, it's definitely worth your while. 5 hours for $20 versus 24 hours for basically half or twice that. So definitely worth your while to go that way. So if you do need to get continuing education, I would recommend WebCE. And again, if you go through our link, we do get a small commission, and helps us do these videos. So again, if you are not sure, check the requirements and sign up for a course today. So if you've found this video to be helpful, I will ask that you either leave a comment, subscribe to this YouTube channel, or leave a comment and or like the video. I think I said comment twice there. And also, you can go to healthagentacademy.com and you can sign up for our free resource guide, where we've got all kinds of different resources to help you in your insurance career. So really, I want to thank you for being on this video presentation, and really wish you the best of luck for your continued success with your insurance career. Thanks. Have a great day.